All right, guys, so today we are going to do our review on the very small and tiny Mandalorian the Child, better known as Baby Yoda. So just a real quick story about the little adventure that I had trying to get this guy. This guy shipped out about 2 weeks ago, and since that time he has been lost in limbo with UPS. And I finally got him in today, actually about 2 hours ago, and I've been itching to do this video. I even created a custom Baby Yoda floating crib, as you can see back there, and we'll get a good look at that, guys. So I've been patiently waiting for my Baby Yoda, and I finally got him. The box was a little beat up because it had been sitting in the UPS warehouse for God knows how long, and there were several days of waiting for this package to arrive, and I did get this package to finally arrive. I actually received another package that was also lost in limbo, just real quickly. So I also got the Boba Fett 40th anniversary figure. Was the only figure that I was missing from the 40th anniversary. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive about a year or so, or 2 years back, and I missed out on the opportunity to get one. And I finally found a trade partner where I traded away one of my Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot 40th anniversary figures. It was a straight up trade, and unfortunately through the shipment of UPS, this guy came up bent and just crushed to death. So just a little horror story for my fellow collectors out there. So, and this guy was also lost in limbo and shipping for several days as well. Finally got him in today, and got him in this very, very poor condition. And I know a lot of people will say, well, he's an opener. Well, I actually already have a Boba Fett opener. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this guy. But it's pretty bad. So I'll probably have to find me another one. This guy is very, very expensive on the open market, runs about $250. So I probably will have to pay the cost to complete my set with a mint condition version of this Boba Fett. But yeah, a little disappointing today that I received this in this condition, but enough with that. So guys, getting you a look at Baby Yoda, we're gonna quickly go over the box. This should be a fairly short video, hopefully, because there's really not much to this. But still in all, it is very exciting to get this figure finally in hand. I've been having to watch others get theirs in shipment, and it's been a long 2 weeks waiting on this guy. So getting you a look at the box, we have Mandalorian the Child, Star Wars Black Series logo. Of course, we have our figure in the window, along with the frog and bowl, and also the knob, the shifter knob for the Razor Crest. So really, really cool. And we have our warning label, 4 and up, Disney, Hasbro. And then on the other side, we have the Child. Now, normally, when the boxes come like this, when they're not numbered, it usually signals that it's an exclusive. However, I know this guy is available on Dorkside, Entertainment Earth, just about all of the retail, online retail sellers have this figure available. So I don't know, maybe it was intended to be an exclusive, I don't know. And they decided to go ahead and release it to all of the online retailers. So you have the Child, no numbering on the side. And then of course on the back side of this, normally you get some kind of description or synopsis of the character. For this one, we do not get that information. We just get our warning labels and whatnot in different languages. So very cool. And then of course on the other side in very, very small print, we have the child, and then behind that shaded in gray, we have the child. And then of course he is back around the front. So guys, we're gonna open up the box, get a look at the figure, get a look at the articulation and all of the accessories. And then of course, as always, we will put him in a very short diorama with our Mandalorian figure here in the background. And of course, our custom floating crib for your Baby Yoda, AKA the child. So let's go ahead and pull him out of the package, guys. So we have our Baby Yoda out of the box, and he is really, really cool. Very, very small. Now I've seen a few people who received this particular figure complain how small he is. My anticipation for this figure that he was going to be very small. If you ever received Yoda in any size, any scale, he is a very, very small creature for an adult version of his species, which unfortunately we do not know the name of his species, but he is a very small figure compared to the other figures in the scale. So obviously with this being a child or a baby Yoda, he is going to be extremely small. So I anticipated a very small figure, and obviously I'm not surprised by the size. So very cool stuff. And then also you have his accessories that come in a very cool clear box, and it's very, very cool that they've done that, because these are very small pieces that can easily get lost. So if you have something to keep those items in, it is very helpful. So it's very, very nice touch by Hasbro to provide us with the small box that to contain those small pieces that more than likely could get lost because they are such small pieces. So that is very, very cool. So let's get you guys a closer look at our Baby Yoda. So getting you guys a look at Baby Yoda here. Really cool looking guy. Very, very small, as I mentioned. And you get some detail with his coverings. Some wrinkles there. A little split down the back there. So there are some details here. And then of course, the covering right there is very, very cool. And then underneath, you have his little Yoda feet, or Baby Yoda feet. Really cool. So that is a very, very cool little Baby Yoda there for your Black Series 6-inch figure. You do have some articulation in the arms where you can move it back and forth. So there it is. The arms actually do tend to fall out of the socket, so I'm sure he can do a 360. But I want to be careful that the arm doesn't come out of the socket. But yeah, you can do a 360 with this guy very easily in the arms. So your Baby Yoda has articulation in the hands where you can twist the hands around in a 360 motion. So that is really, really cool stuff. And then he also has a back and forth that he can do. I don't know if you guys can see that slight movement in the hand, but he does have articulation in the hands. Obviously in the leg area, there is no articulation. I don't even know if the feet can turn left to right, as you can see. So you can turn the feet. There is some articulation there. So in the head area, he can look up about that far, and he goes down about that far. And then of course you can get a good right to left turn with your Baby Yoda. So very cool articulation given the size of the figure, and decent detail as well, again given the size of the figure. So really, really cool stuff there, guys. And for your accessories, again, you have your frog, you have the bowl, and then you also have the knob that goes to the Razor Crest there, which is Baby Yoda's little toy now. So really cool stuff. And let's pull these items out of the box. We're gonna start with the little frog here. Now obviously Baby Yoda eats these things. So that is really, really cool stuff. And then of course we also have his bowl. So there is his bowl as well. very cool. And then last but not least, we have Baby Yoda's little toy, which is the one of the knobs that goes to the controls for the Razor Crest. So very cool that you receive these additional accessories with this figure. Very, very nice stuff there, guys. So in regard to your accessories that come with Baby Yoda, as we just looked at, you have the frog and you have the bowl, and you also have the really, really tiny knob that goes on one of the controls for the Razor Crest. Now, unfortunately, because of the way that the figure is constructed, he's actually not going to be able to hold any one of those items, specifically the bowl, because he would need to have both hands on the bowl. And unfortunately, your figure is not able to bring his hands together because, again, the way that clothing does not allow for the arms, doesn't give good articulation for the arms to come together for him to hold the bowl. So that's a bit unfortunate. And then, of course, the frog. It's the same deal with everything, for the exception of the knob. If you're really, really careful, if you take some tweezers or something, you may be able to sit that ball in his hand. If you turn the hand kind of upright in this position, you may be able to sit that ball in his hand and have him hold that. But other than that, you're gonna have a hard time getting him to hold those items. So in reviewing this figure, if there was a negative, obviously the negative would be that even though he comes with 3 really cool accessories, 3 very necessary accessories, unfortunately, specifically the bowl, it does you no good if he can't, especially if he can't hold it with 2 hands. So that's a bit unfortunate. I would have much preferred if they gave us the floating crib as opposed to these particular items. Even though I do appreciate these items, I think the floating crib would have been more of a necessary accessory as opposed to accessories that unfortunately he's not going to be able to hold, or you can't particularly pose him with. The frog, you can get away with posing him in this particular position, but the bowl is pretty much useless if he can't hold it with 2 hands. And then again, as I mentioned with the little ball, the knob that goes on one of the controls for the Razor Crest, it's such a small item, and his hands are really, really small as well. You would be hard pressed to have him hold that as well. So, you know, there's some pros and cons to the accessories that do come with this particular figure. But as I had mentioned, I would have much preferred they provided us with the floating crib with this figure. I think it would have made much more sense. They could have charged a little bit more with the addition of this accessory. I think that would have made more sense than the accessories that we did get with the Baby Yoda. But still in all, I am very happy to have Baby Yoda here with our 6th Mandalorian figure, so I can put together very cool dioramas, and it's such a pleasure to have this figure. So while I am a little disappointed with some of the accessories and what we got versus what we could have gotten, I still think this is an excellent figure, and most definitely this figure is a must-have if you are a fan of The Mandalorian, and if you've also collected the Mandalorian figure itself. So very, very cool stuff. And then getting you guys a look at the customized floating crib that I created for the figure. So basically what I did was I went out and got a Easter egg and cut obviously this portion out, as you can see by the rough edges there. I should have sanded those edges down just to make them a little smoother, but and I, especially given the time that it took for me to get the figure, I had a lot of opportunity to get this thing in a little bit better shape, but I was really anticipating getting this figure a lot sooner than I did, and the disappointment of me just having to wait on this figure, I kind of got lackadaisical with the finishing touches on the crib, unfortunately. So That's why you see the rough edges there. But there is his crib, his custom crib there. We have the little buttons in the front. So when Mando needs to set the controls so he can have little baby Yoda floating behind him, he can do so. So that is really, really cool stuff there, guys. Really, really cool. And of course, I painted the inside orange. We have our knobs there. You get a look at the back. So really, really cool stuff. And again, I wish, and I know at some point Hasbro will provide us with this floating crib. It'll be another way for them to sell us another Baby Yoda. So, you know, I get it as far as marketing is concerned, but I really feel this would have been a necessary accessory for your Baby Yoda, given the fact that it's actually the first thing that we see with Baby Yoda before we even actually get to see Baby Yoda. So again, I think they could have given us this particular item with this figure. But I did have fun making this, and I saw a lot of collectors coming up with this same idea with the Easter egg and putting together a custom floating crib for their figure. So it did inspire a lot of creation amongst collectors. So I guess that is also a good thing as well. Very cool accessories. Unfortunately, the some of the accessories that he would actually hold would be very difficult, almost to impossible for the figure to hold due to some restrictions with the articulation. However, minus that, the figure is a really cool figure, and as you can see with all of the pictures that I took here today, there is a lot that you can do with this particular figure. So very, very awesome figure. Very glad to have it in my collection. He's going to look absolutely perfect on the shelf. And then of course, you can easily make your own custom floating crib for your Baby Yoda or the child figure. You would simply need to get a standard Easter egg, a plastic Easter egg like I did, and cut the top out of the egg, such as what I did there. And then it's just a matter of applying the paint and then putting together a makeshift stand. I took a couple of pieces from my Hot Wheels set to create the stand, and then also the platform, the bottom part of the stand, actual 3.75 figure stand that I kind of glued to the bottom of the clear pole that you see there. And then of course I made a little hole in the bottom of the plastic Easter egg, and then glued that together, and that's how I was able to make the clear stand for your floating crib for Baby Yoda. Really cool stuff there, guys. So I'd like to know what your thoughts are in regards to the Baby Yoda figure. Have you picked up the figure? What are your thoughts about the figure, guys? Let me know. Put those comments down below. And then also, were you able to make your own custom floating crib for your Baby Yoda figure? Put those comments down below as well. And then of course, if you have any questions in regards to how to create that custom crib, you can leave those comments down below, and I most definitely will answer those comments, guys. So please leave those comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are about Baby Yoda and the custom floating crib, guys. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.